up today? Uh-oh, let me close before we start.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. Here we go. Hold on.
I think we are streaming on YouTube.
There we go. Hey, Nakia. So I am moving to Italy in 2 weeks. I think I shared this with you all some weeks ago about preparing myself really for the rest of my life. And I plan to spend most of the rest of my life in Italy. And I will begin rooting. And last week, the softness that Italy brings out of me just started to really wash over my system. I'm going to get a little personal today because that's where we are today, okay? So there's a way energetically that I don't feel safe in the United States, okay? And it's not, I know a lot of Black people talk about it through a racial lens, like, you know, because of the racism in America, I don't feel safe being Black. For me, it's not that. For me, it's the energy that governs the United States that I don't feel safe around. The dominant energy that governs the United States. And that energy is a masculine energy. And it is a disrespectful energy. It is a bullying energy. America has become what it is because of its masculine, domineering, bullying energy. Now, look, I love masculine, dominant energy, but divine masculine, okay? And America is not divine masculine. There's a lot of performative respect in the United States, but we know that at the end of the day, money rules all this shit. Money rules it. Money, work runs this shit, okay? And there's a pros and cons to having money as a value. There's pros and cons to that, right? Like I love the laws for entrepreneurs in the United States. There are some generous, lovely laws and tax rules that govern this country. And it just is. And if you're an entrepreneur, you want to be an entrepreneur in the United States, okay? For a multitude of reasons. And so there's that, right? And in Italy, I know on YouTube, and for people who don't have a discerning eye and they just take what's obvious, right? I appear to be this, you know, aggressive, masculine, right? And that's how I know people's sight level is they don't have multidimensional sight. Because when I look at a woman who's, you know, professional as far as like handling her business, and I can see the masculine leading way that she is. When I really look at her without just what she's giving to me, evidently, I can see all of who she is while everybody else is, right? So that's the experience I have of how a lot of people perceive me. And that's fine. Listen, okay? Get ready, because a lot of folks are going to be mad and a lot of people are going to be very inspired, okay? So I'm actually incredibly soft. Like, you know, there's parts to me that, yeah. And Italy brings that out of me. You know, Italy brings out the feminine, softer side of me. Like I was in bed last week and you know, like getting closer to the date of departure and really seeing myself there, and literally like my body just melted. And I want this for all of you. I want this for all of you, you know, and how this connects to living the life of your dreams. Ooh, so first of all, listen, Saturday, for those of you who are dreamers, okay, Hi, Ebony. For those of you who are dreamers, and you've always had big dreams, like even no matter what house you were raised in, like what the rules were in the house and in the city you lived in or the country or your church or the community you lived in, you always had big dreams. Like you always had big dreams. And you always wanted a lot for yourself. And maybe it always felt far away, or maybe it felt like, God, I want all these things, but how do I do that? Like, how do I have that? How do I do that? And then depending on how you were raised, right? And your belief, like if you believe you can have all the things that your heart longs for, right? You'll pursue or not pursue the life of your dreams. And when I was in my 20s, even when I was married, I was like, I want a big life. I want a big life. I want to travel. I want to really come to know the corners of who I am, like all the caves of who I am. I could feel that I was dynamic. I didn't know how to express it. I didn't have language for it. It was just a sense that I had that I'm dynamic. And nobody around me was modeling it. Nobody was talking about it. I didn't even know how to talk about it. It was all just a feeling. And I remember when I moved to Houston, Texas. So after my divorce, I was like, I'm starting over. I want to go prove to myself that I am this thing that I'm thinking about myself. And so I moved to Houston, Texas. And I remember, to me, it was like, this is what I do. Like when you really start letting yourself act on who you are, right? You start doing things that to other people is like, why aren't you afraid? Because I didn't know anybody in Houston when I moved there. It just, logically is like, why? And it's been my whole life, right? And I really look at, like, I feel like I didn't really even start growing up until after my marriage. It's like I didn't even get a chance to really go see the world until after, or not even just the world, like myself, get to know myself until after my divorce. And all the stuff that was sitting in me dormant, that was eager to come out and to be expressed, and right, and then travel, and then even allowing myself to be led by my desires versus logic. What's the logical, responsible thing to do here? That farce of response, like, listen, live your life, do whatever you want to do. But what I'm saying, so many people use being responsible as a way to keep themselves in a cave. I mean, when you get to your last week, and you can believe everything you want to believe about the afterlife, and because energy cannot be created or destroyed, and you will be leaving this body. Okay, listen, you're going to leave this body. When you get to your last year in your current body, what's important to you to have experienced? Let's not make this a trying to be right, and just bottom line, when you are in your last year in your body, because that is fucking coming. It's not a debate. In your life, what is important to you to have experienced, right? So, like a woman who I love, who I was talking to today, it's like one of our greatest fears was not doing the things that we get called to do, like of our heart, like having a list of shit, getting old and having a list of shit that we never did, and sitting in regret. Like that was a bit, like she and I like share that as like, fuck that, like that's a driver. Like I'm not going to be one of those people who's like shoulda, coulda, woulda. Like no. And so when I just think back from like 26 years old, I'll be 43 on the 26th of this month. I'll be 43 on the 26th of this month. I said, yes, I was married. I was with him though. We got together anyway. We got back together at 18, and I was with him until I was 26. So that's a whole decade. Like a woman should not be married during those years. You should be getting to know yourself so you can even choose marriage right. You know what I mean? Anyway, so when I just look back from like 26 years old to now, right? So that's 17 years. When I just look at the last 17 years of my life, what it's taken for me at each stage, if I just look at this last 17 years in 5-year increments and like where change happened, where I did something that I blew my own mind, where I did something that was the life of my dreams, where I did something that just gave me like incredible wild joy and like, you know, right? Where I just felt so alive, where I just was like, this is heaven. Like, this is it, you know? It was constantly moving through fear, like always. It was always like doing something on the other side of fear. It was having a very clear goal and working toward a very clear goal. None of this like financial freedom is my goal. Well, what the fuck is that? $10,000 a month? I don't know. What is that? Passive income, active income? What is that? It was never like that. It was like, my goal is to live in Milan, Italy. My goal is to get to consistent $10,000 a month. My goal is to wake up without an alarm clock. My goal is to, right? It was like, and it was always fear. It was always like liberated thought. It was always a level of liberated thought. And it's just certain things that I would not have been able to do if I was married. It just wasn't going to happen if I was married. Now, had I chose a different mate, perhaps, right? But with the mate I was with, I would not have lived the life that I have lived. And that was the whole point, to go off and live the life of my dreams. So this is actually to get to a couple things. I actually meant to say this in the beginning. Like the video, subscribe, and also this coming Saturday, I'm leading a More Than Enough intimate presentation. More than enough, more than enough, more than enough. You can register with the link beneath this video. I think I will share this as a replay on Instagram. So if you're on Instagram, click More Than Enough. Yeah, and what you do is go to the bottom of that page. Oh, both of y'all, go to the bottom of the page and enter your name and email, and you'll get the link to join us 9 a.m. Pacific this coming Saturday. What are we doing Saturday? This coming Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific. What we're doing is we're looking at what your big dream is and what's between you and having the big dream, the life of your dreams. What's between you and it? I already know you're going to say fear. Like, that's the obvious, right? But the goal is to go deeper. Let's go deeper, right? Like, what are you afraid of losing? And let's like melt that. We can dissolve a lot of the like we can chip away, right? We can melt it, like we can go at it. It's my point. What are you afraid of losing? What are you afraid of not experiencing? What do you hunger for? Like, when you get down, because see, there's layers, right? When you get down into the primal element, what do you, there's that. And like really come to a new, like you could really like corner this thing and look at it with fresh eyes, with loving eyes, with my presence, because it's amazing the things women do when they have me present with them. Because when we're with our own mind, first of all, we're with our own mind all the time. And we think a certain way all the time. It's just our minds we have patterns that we just don't see. Like even the woman who I was talking to earlier today, she's like, I'm seeing this pattern and I was in denial, and we just don't see things. And what happens is when you are in the presence of someone who has deep, clear sight, right? Someone who has deep, clear sight and who cares, right? Who's really present with you, they can help you get to the other side of something that either you've been unable to get to the other side of, you haven't even seen it to be able to get to the other side of it, or that is ready to pop now. It's ready to pop. And so then what this allows you to do is to get closer to the life of your dreams, right? Ask a question, make a decision, take a very specific action. This work is it's clear. Like she was saying on the phone today, she was like, it's clear. Like, gosh, so it's just so valuable to be mentored at a high level. Like another thing I realized last week, I was telling somebody, I was like, gosh, I have 100% success rate. Whether you come in close, because the closer you come, the more clarifying. You clarify in my presence. That's what, and a lot of us, we don't get clear as a means to stay out of decision. So people get closer, and all those tricky, sophisticated ways that we keep ourselves blind or out of power, they start to rapidly dissolve in my presence. So, and a lot of women can intuitively feel this, which is why they'll watch me on YouTube, right? Or Instagram or wherever, but they won't lean in further because they're only ready at that level, right? And then when they're ready for more, they'll come in at a more intimate level because shit starts happening very quickly. Or they'll come to Zoom and I'll ask a question that requires clarification and they'll like disappear. Like, you know? Um, so the value of that is when you are ready to live the life of your dreams. Okay. The way I was when I was like in my 20s, and I was like, I didn't have language for it, but I knew I was ready for more. Like, I'm ready to go to explore this thing that I don't even know what it is, but I know there's a life for me to live that's not going to happen here. And when I made the decision to move to Houston, right? And when I made the decision to start my fashion marketing company, when I made the decision to hustle to really build it up, and um, man, I hustled, right? Because my dream was to have a successful fashion marketing company, right? So grassroots. This was before social media. So I'm on people's doors. I'm showing up to people's boutiques, right? Fear all the time, right? Excited all the time, all that. And then when I decided to enter the coaching space, when I decided to travel internationally for the first time, like I'm moving through all these things to live the life of my dreams. When I decided to go on a one-way ticket to Italy for the first time in 2015. Um, even leaving my marriage was, oh my God, do you know how like that was like such a huge rupture in my reality. A man I had been with for 8 years, and to rupture that, like when I tell you the level, I have a scar right here on my wrist from when I moved out and I moved into an apartment in San Francisco. And I was sad all the time. And I'm the one who initiated the divorce, right? Sad all the time, just sad all the time. And I remember I ate a bowl of cereal. I was sitting on the bed eating a bowl of cereal. And finished the cereal, sat the bowl on the bed, and just this wave of rage and anger came over me. And I remember I just like, and I just screamed and I threw myself back onto the bed and I broke the bowl with my wrist. And I still have the scar right here. And like so many women I know are, hiding behind their marriage. Like you have a man who's a provider who loves you, it's very easy to stay there. Very easy. Even if you know there's more, it's just convenient. You don't have to stretch, right? So you can hide behind him and say shit like, the things we say. I don't need to talk about that. I talk to enough women to do it, to know what it looks like. And I know myself, right? So like that, and obviously if the goal is to, if you have a genuine desire to stay in the marriage, that's very different. It's just when a woman realizes she married because of pressure or because fill in the blank, the reasons women marry but don't really want to marry, or they choose this guy, right? That's another conversation. The point is walking through so many doors of fear and trepidation to live the life of your dreams. And so what I'm excited to do with you this coming Saturday at 9 a.m. Pacific, and you click the link. Ebony says, powerful message. I was going to say, yeah, okay. This coming Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific, is we're going to start to look at what you are so eager and hungry to have. We're going to look at what you're afraid of losing, what you're afraid of experiencing, not experiencing. What's up with you and your mom? Are you scared of something with your mom? Are you scared of, right? All the things. There's just so many things. And looking at your power, like where your power lives inside of you. and how it expresses itself, and what's happening with you, like really getting into the intimate details of you and your power and the life of your dreams. um so click the link to register for that on Saturday. um and be on time. You got to have your camera on. It's a very intimate affair. um and I'm going to be inviting you into the More Than Enough 8-week program too. You'll see that information when you click the link and register at the bottom of the page. um but also Italy. I'd like to talk a little bit about Italy. For those of you who, Nikia, if you're still here, um, are really looking for changing at a core level, um, and really deepening into your feminine side. And yeah, I was having a conversation with a woman the other day. You know who you are. Yesterday, as a matter of fact, about divine mastery in Italy. And she was like, Naima, it's time for me to change my environment. It's like I'm looking for a huge, totally different change in environment. And that's one of the reasons why divine mastery in Italy is for me. And um, I was talking with another woman about leveraging beauty. And one of the feminine arts of manifesting is creating space. Okay. When you're calling in a new reality, we were talking about this today, that the old and the new cannot coexist. And so many of us, it's like we want to sample the life of our dreams, but we want to keep a foot back here in this old life. We want to keep a foot back here in this old life. And let me sample. You want a nigga to come sample your pussy? Can can he sample your pussy? Let me just stick the head in. I don't want to spend a night. I don't want to get to know you. I don't want to buy you no meal. I just want to stick my dick in you for 5 minutes. Can I just sample you? That's what y'all trying to do with the life of your dreams. You want to stick one foot into the life of your dreams and keep one foot back here in fear and whatever, all the old stale shit, right? They can't coexist. When you do that, you create what's called chaotic vibration. In vibration, two vibrations cannot successfully coexist. Otherwise, you create chaotic vibration, where it's like yes and no. Like you'll call on a manifestation, then you'll lose it very quickly, or you'll break things. It'll be all kind of shit happening because you're in chaotic vibration. Anyway, so the environment. If I could just take a snapshot of, I just feel like it's not appreciated on YouTube. Listen, this will be better. I'm already looking forward to this. I'm going to be sharing Italy with you anyway. My YouTube channel is at a place now where I don't have to be on my webcam. Like right now I'm using a webcam, right? But now I can live stream from my mobile phone because now I have 1,000 subscribers, which is what YouTube requires. And I'm going to be showing you Italy. That look, I can show you better than I can tell you, right? I just love also how I feel talking about it, frankly. It's a form of being the vibration for me. And so I'm going to just do that for myself right now because I feel like it. So, hmm, oh man, so good, just so good. So Italy is a world-class city, first of all. It's a world-class city. That yes, it's modern, it's the financial center of Italy. Okay, Milan is the financial center of Italy. So yes, it has its modern elements, and it still has so much of uh, just old the oldness that makes it beautiful, the tradition that makes it beautiful. I mean, you know, number one is its Gothic cathedral, which is the second largest church in the world. I mean, that's just like bam right there. That took 500 and I think 62 or 582 years to build. Um, and then the language. Allora, I was speaking to a man, an Italian man today, discussing our housing, and he didn't know. He answered the phone in Italian. That's very romantic, and I love that. And what I want for you is to experience yourself differently. Yeah. See, when I walk the streets in whatever city I go to, right? In America, there's a vibration, right? Every city has a vibration. Every country has a vibration. And the United States is a very commercial country. Like I said, it's about money. It's a very commercial country. Everything is a transaction. Everything it's about money. It's about sales. It's about appearance. And obviously you have pockets of people who are living, their specific lives that have meaning and depth. But there's a disregard for beauty in its multitude of forms. Beauty is, when I say beauty, I'm not talking about just appearance of uh, the beauty of sitting down and sharing a meal with someone, the beauty of taking the time to dress oneself well, the beauty of making your own olive oil, the beauty of art, the beauty of women. There's a respect for women. I mean, there's so many things. There's a respect for women in Italy that is just so evident in um, how men talk to women, strangers, just out in the street. I'm not even talking about romantic, but like just out, how I'm treated, whether I'm in a touristy area or not. Okay. Um, and it's a slower life. I mean, yes, Milan is the financial center of Italy, but it's there's what's in the culture, like they have what's called aperitivo. It is every weekday. It might happen on Saturdays too, but every weekday there's aperitivo, and aperitivo is what Americans would call happy hour. But it's not about you know going and having cheap drinks and maybe getting drunk. It's not the American version. Aperitivo is where you slow down. Okay, it's really like the underneath it is a slowing down. They give you little appetizers with your drink, and you take your time. You take your time. Nobody's like giving you a receipt or check to get out the door. If you sit there for 3 hours, then nobody gonna bother you, right? Um, and it's just baked into the culture. And it's an international city as well. So you're connecting with people, a lot of European people, German people, people from even North Africa. There's a lot of North Africans there, British folks. You don't come across a lot of Americans. Now there are plenty of Americans, obviously, because Milan is touristy too, especially the center. But it's a very international city, so you get a chance to meet people of a different flavor because of geography. And so you get to experience yourself in conversation with and listening to conversations in English and otherwise, because you'll hear German people talking in English, and you'll hear uh, French people talking in French and English, and you'll right. And so when you have and you give yourself the feminine space, okay, space to give yourself space is a very feminine allowance to be in an environment that is baked into the culture to respect slowing down, art, beauty, femininity. Remember, Milan is the fashion capital of the world, you know? Um, and even you, do you even have a respect for that? See, that's not taught in American culture. So it's I have a personal affinity for that because that's me, right? But how many Americans are that's not baked into American culture? So for most Americans, if they like that, it's because they have always liked that. It's part of who they are. It's their style, it's their flavor, it's what fulfills them, delights them, brings them satisfaction and pleasure and right and appreciation and like feeling God, right? Um, and so I want you to have this opportunity to experience yourself differently and to in that space the leverage is using being in that space to get you to know yourself deeper and differently, right? See, because my work with so many women and working so intimately and closely is so many women don't even know themselves and they don't know that they don't know themselves. They just know that they live their lives. There may be repeating patterns oftentimes that are not bringing them what they want. They feel stuck. They feel like they're in a loop. Um, uh, they know they're not living their life. This is all kinds of women all over the place, but I'm talking about women who have always had big dreams and like you buried your dream years ago for whatever reason. Like I remember when I went to Italy at 21 for the first time, when we were leaving, we were taxiing down the runway on the plane to come back here to the United States. And I remember crying, being like, I don't know when, I don't know how, but I'm moving to this country and being married and doing life, I completely forgot about that dream. I completely forgot about that. And the fear, right? Because my ex-husband wanted a normal life. He just wanted to like do the family thing and the traditional, which is great. Like I wanted him to have that. Unfortunately, I'm not the woman to give you that. And I wasn't thinking like that when he proposed to me when I was 20 years old. That's what I mean. Like, don't get married that young. And you like I wanted to create like create my family of people who really are big dreamers and like live like that because today like who I am today it's like I'm on a totally different energetic trajectory. I'm not stuck in some cycle. I have the greatest freedom. I was watching Gary Vee, one of his reels the other day, and he was talking about the two primary kinds of wealth. And he was talking about financial wealth, which is very rare. And he's when he says wealth, he means like your great great grandkids are already rich, as Beyonce says, right? Like billionaire status, multi millionaire with money that's going to turn over for generations to come. So he was talking about great wealth, not just like multi-millionaire rich. um so that being one wealth he talked about, and he talked about the other wealth being how you think, your perspective, your mind, because um when you have control over your mind and liberated thought, let's be clear, liberated thought, meaning not only do you have control over your mind and you have a high way of thinking, but you actually act on that and you're not like trapped, right? Anyway, I don't even know how you could be trapped and have that mind, but right. uh that's one of the things that like, and this is what gosh, woo, this is what I want for you all and the experience of immersing in Italy. So first of all, come on Saturday. Please make sure you come on Saturday. If you're a big dreamer, I want this for you, okay? But the immersing for a month in Milan, because that's what divine mastery in Italy is. Immersing for a month allows you to experience yourself differently in this rich environment. It's rich and you can feel it too, because the architecture, the just these people appreciate beauty, art, style, you know, to experience yourself in that way and to start to like the leverage is using that to start to release and loosen shackles and even invisible shackles, right? The women I work with don't even know, like they just know that they're in a loop, they're in a pattern, they're bored with life. They keep telling them things that keep them down versus telling themselves, and having the liberated thought and decision making to take them up into the life of their dreams. Where, like, do you know that you can have a reality of living in a different country every quarter? Like, like, you know, I know women who want two husbands. You know what I'm saying? Women who want to like live here for 6 months and then live there, live in Jamaica for 6 months and then live in Paris for 6 months. I know women who constantly are talking about financial freedom and $50,000 a month. Like, this is not some pie in the sky stuff. This is you getting into a way of being, like how you see, how you feel, how you think. And what's in the way of you doing that is you being afraid of losing something, gaining something, feeling something. That's typically what it is. You fear losing something, you feel an experience, which is like somebody saying something to you. You fear that your husband is not going right. Like, literally, I've had a client who was like, my husband is this particular way, and I know he's not coming. Like, what does that do to a woman who knows that she wants to live a particular life, and this man who she's married to, who she has kids with, she know he's not coming, and what kind of mind game she does with herself to make herself stay there, and the sickness that will then start to erupt in the body, and the level of like psychic warfare that will start to ensue, and the low grade or high grade, depending on low grade depression, she'll start to experience in that marriage. And then as she ages, I'm telling you, you start aging, you get into them late 40s, 50s, and you look back and you realize you got more time behind you than you do ahead of you. And you look at the decisions that you've made to get you to where you are, and so many women, and some of this I know from direct experiences, some of it I just know psychically because I'm tapped in, um, do elaborate mental gymnastics to stay in comfort, right? Even with the pain of the comfort. Um, so, if you're in a place where, as I was telling a woman today, where you're ready to pay the price, because you're going to pay a price to live the life of your dreams, period. There's a price to pay. And as she was saying today, there's always going to be the decisions that separate the talkers from the doers. The people who talk, she was talking about somebody, a man in her family who's been saying he's going to do something in particular since she was a kid. And she's like, that nigga ain't never done that. And then the people who actually produce the results, who actually do live in Jamaica for one quarter and live in London for another quarter and live in Paris for another quarter and live in Hawaii for the summer, who actually do get to $10,000, $50,000 a month. Like, that's a different kind of being. That person is making different decisions. That person is having different conversations behind closed doors. That person is having a different conversation in here. That person is paying a different price. That person is looking at the world different. That person has a different heart. You got to have heart to live the life of your dreams, okay? You got to have heart to live the life of your dreams. So come to More Than Enough on Saturday if you want me to help you live the life of your dreams. The link is beneath the video, or on IG. The link is in my profile. Click More Than Enough, and at the bottom of the More Than Enough page, enter your email, and you'll receive the link for Zoom for this coming Saturday, 9 a.m. Pacific. So my word for you is how to live the life of your dreams as you get around people who are committed to living the life of their dreams. And you get a chance to make a decision, because a liberated thing also is making the decision that I'm not moving, right? You can choose, because it's pain either way. Listen, it's going to be pain with living the life of your dreams, and it's going to be pain with you staying in a place of comfort when your heart every day longs for more. Or you're avoiding looking at pictures of Paris because you're not going, or you're not going to really live the life of your dreams. You avoid thinking about or looking at anything that reminds you of the life that you've longed for, right? You've longed to have healing centers in Africa and Canada and the United States. You've longed to be able to have doula centers on 4 different continents. You've longed to host luxury retreats all over the world. And what is it going to take, time wise, responsibility wise, commitment, decision to do that? And are you willing to pay that price? Are you willing to set up boundaries around all of these people who currently suck up off of you for free, and you get to feel like a helper, you get to feel important? But in order for you to go put your attention toward things that bring you a greater return, you got to set up a boundary. And oh, what are they going to think? Am I going to lose that feeling of low grade significance? See, there's so many tricky ways that we keep ourselves down, like, am I going to now be in competition with my mom? Is she going to see me as her daughter now? Can I even manage this kind of responsibility? I'm scared of losing, you know what I mean? Being alone, being successful and being alone. I'm scared, right? It's just so many, right? And are you willing to pay the price? Because you're going to pay it either way. Are you willing to pay the price? Listen, in closing, I think this is in closing, unless somebody asks me something or something else comes up. Your time in your body will come to an end. The energy that you are will move on, but your time in this body has an expiration date. We just so conveniently forget that every day, right? If you was really like, if that was part of your, like, on your wall level of awareness every morning, that my time in this body is coming to an end, for sure, right? For sure. It's not a maybe, right? And what's important for me, right? Making a decision about how you're going to invest the next 30 days of your life. How are you going to invest the next 6 months of your life? Where are you putting money? And letting that govern, like, you're going to pay one way or the other. So you either going to pay the price of staying where you are, or you're going to pay the price of living the life of your dreams. And so I moved to Italy. My whole life since I left my divorce has been about living the life of my dreams. Period. It's been about, what do I genuinely desire to do here? And it's always been fear around it. Always, 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 always. And so, you wonder, for those of you who are like, have wondered, it's like, well, because I've been doing this for a long time. Okay. And I know the sneaky ways that, right? And when I went to Italy first I went on a one-way ticket for 7 weeks. That was the goal. 7 weeks, one way. And 7 weeks turned into 4 years. And my experience there, which is why Divine Mastery in Italy exists, one of the reasons why Divine Mastery in Italy, which, by the way, Divine Mastery in Italy is a month-long immersion in Milan, Italy, for the entire month of June this year, where, for those of you who are transformational healers and coaches and leaders and shamans and, just powerful women, we're looking to really transform who you are at a deep level, at a core level, and become a walking anomaly who creates the life of her dreams, whatever that is. There's a becoming involved there. And there are experiences that you engage in to sharpen you, to soften you, to open you, to develop you, right? All that. And when I went to Milan, Italy on that 7-week one-way ticket, I knew I was looking for change. I knew I was looking for more than just a trip. I wanted more than just a retreat, right? I had done so many retreats and girls things, feminine goddess circles, and all these things that, we do on our path to healing and liberation and power and transformation. And I would still go home to wherever home was. And it would have been a nice experience, but there was no core, like, real change. And my experience going, man, just like who I was in 2013, where I was literally looking for a way to end my life. And when I just look back to then, 2013 up till now, and the doors that I've walked through, the decisions that I've made, the recommitments. A lot of this is also recommitting. Okay, uh, the being with rupturing different areas of one's life, because you may be good with money, but you're terrible with your body, or you may be good with um, in your relationship, but you may be poor with money. Maybe you're, when you start rupturing these areas where you're looking for lasting transformation, right? Because when I living the life of your dreams, it's a lifestyle. It's not just for 2022. It's a lifestyle. I imagine you want to live the life of your dreams for the rest of your life, not just for 2022, right? You're not looking to just have $10,000 a month this or 10,000 this month. You want 10,000 a month every month in your passive income business and your, whatever your business is, your jewelry, your CBD products, your right, your healing services. You want consistent money, not just money for the month of April. And so to produce consistent results is because who you are is who you are that's doing that. And so that's deep core change that's lasting, right? And so what happened for me that I hunger for you is lasting change that happens in immersion. That's why Divine Mastery in Italy is a month-long immersion, because I'm looking for you to have an experience that when you go back home, where you might even be like, I'm moving. See, that's what happens when you really, your being, like your bones, your vibration, there's an impression that stays versus what happens in a retreat or a weekend thing is nice. It's nice. It's wonderful. It's like you feel the goodness and the nutrients and all that. But when you go home, there hasn't been any change that allows you to produce a consistent result in somewhere that matters for you, or preferably live the life of your dreams. So Divine Master in Italy is an opportunity for you to have what I had when I first went there in 2015, where, man, I was just so deliberate about creating so many rituals and leveraging being in the space. You can look at pictures of Italy all day. You can look at videos of Italy or whatever is your dream hotspot all day. You can, wonderful, good, go, fine. But I think all of you know, those of you who have traveled somewhere that you love, looking at pictures online or meditating about it versus being there. Okay. And so the leverage is using the energy and the frequency of that town to impact how you start to see yourself, feel yourself, and doing it over a full month. It's powerful, it's transformative. So I know this was kind of long today. Yeah, it's been 49 minutes, but it's worth it. And I'm really excited. I'll be broadcasting some of my life in Italy. I will be there next month and plan to be there for most of the rest of my life. I'll be in an Airbnb for some time. And while I'm in my Airbnb, I'll be looking for a permanent place. And it's going to be a slow, really relaxed process of rooting. And I'm going to take some language classes eventually. I did 6 months in Colombia last year, and Colombian language and Italian language share. I say probably like 60% of their language is shared. So I feel like I got a good foundation to start to develop my Italian. Plus, I lived in Italy for 4 years. And so that's another thing about leveraging the environment. For those of you who have learned another language, you know that you'll learn some of the language, right? Let's say you live in another country for a year, you pick up some of the language, then you go to America, you forget because you're not using it. Then as soon as you go back to the country, things click, right? And all of a sudden you talking like you fluent, right? Allora, buonasera. You walking around, walking into shops and shit. Buonasera, like so what does it take to live the life of your dreams? That's what I'm going to be helping you with this coming Saturday at the More Than Enough presentation. And my goal is to really be with you, side by side with you, heart to heart with you, and helping you to really look at the parts of you that are hungry for the life of your, like, I want to know what the life of your dreams is. Clearly, I want to hear that out of your mouth on Saturday. What do you fear losing? What do you fear gaining? What do you desire to gain? What do you not want to experience? What conversation do you not want to have? Like, and we can gently look at this. We'll have time. Like today we met and I didn't have as much time as I would have liked. But Saturday we're going to have more time. And I want you to really come ready to change, ready to have the life of your dreams. And knowing what the life of your dreams even looks like. That's the beginning. What does it even look like? Okay. And so let's have a grown conversation and recognize that if you're an anomaly, act like it. You're an anomaly, act like it. All this talking going on, life is now. Do you know you could decide today that you're going to be in London next month? I mean, look, if you got a job you got to report to, that's something. But have you talked to your boss about working remotely and being in London next month? Like, this is what I mean. Like, this is how I live. You know, um, this is what I mean. When you really start living a life of your dream and you make it a lifestyle and a habit, you don't even you man, I'm flying around. Look, I'll come to your city. We can sit down and have a meal, and I'll see you later. You know what I mean? Like, and you'll benefit from that. You will benefit from that. You know, man, you're gonna pay the price one way or the other. Yeah. Like my girl was saying today, separating the talkers from the doers. All right, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. Link in bio, sweetheart. Register at the bottom of the page. More than enough. More than enough. Bye, y'all.